Ever wondered why Europe has become so reliant on Russia's gas for heating? It's a story that goes back decades. In the late 20th century, the discovery of colossal natural gas reserves in Russia set the stage for a dramatic shift in the global energy landscape. The scale of these reserves was staggering, and they promised to fuel the world for generations to come. As the development of infrastructure for gas transport evolved, Russia emerged as a significant player in the world's energy market, its resources shaping the course of nations far beyond its borders. This was especially true for Europe. With its own natural gas reserves dwindling and energy demands on the rise, Europe found itself looking eastward, towards the vast gas fields of Russia. It was a relationship of convenience and necessity. Europe needed energy, and Russia had it in abundance. As the years passed, key moments served to intensify Europe's reliance on Russian gas. Periods of economic growth increased energy demands, and Russia was there to meet them. Energy crises shook the world, and Russia's gas reserves offered a semblance of stability amidst the turmoil. Consider, for instance, the energy crisis of the 70s. When oil prices skyrocketed, the economies of many Western nations were hit hard. Yet those with access to Russian gas were able to weather the storm more effectively. This event underscored the strategic importance of Russian gas, cementing Europe's dependence on it. Fast forward to today, and this reliance has only deepened. Europe's energy landscape is intricately intertwined with Russia's gas reserves. It's a relationship that has been shaped by the ebbs and flows of history, by the push and pull of supply and demand. So, the seeds of Europe's gas dependence were sown long ago, and the tendrils of this reliance have only grown over time. As the conflict between Russia and Ukraine intensified, Europe found itself in a tight spot. The ongoing conflict between these two Eastern European giants has thrown a wrench into the well-oiled machine of Europe's energy supplies. Russia, a key player in the global gas market, has been a long-standing supplier of natural gas to Europe. However, the escalating conflict with Ukraine has disrupted this flow, leading to a significant gas crunch across the continent. Let's break down the impact. Picture this: Ukraine and Russia locked in a fierce conflict, leading to a drop in gas exports from Russia. As the supply shrinks, the demand for gas in Europe remains the same. And as any economics textbook would tell you, when demand outstrips supply, prices skyrocket. So, how did this conflict lead to an increase in gas prices? Well, the interruption in gas flow from Russia meant that Europe had to look elsewhere for its energy needs. This led to increased competition for available gas resources, driving prices up. But it's not just about steep bills and empty wallets. The higher gas prices have far-reaching economic implications for Europe. A surge in energy costs can trigger inflation, as businesses pass on the increased costs to consumers. If left unchecked, this can lead to an economic slowdown, potentially tipping countries into recession. And the effects are not confined to the corridors of power or the trading floors of stock exchanges. This energy crisis hits everyday citizens where it hurts the most: their household budgets. As heating costs rise, families across Europe are faced with the difficult choice between staying warm and meeting other basic needs. The conflict has also exposed the vulnerability of Europe's energy security. With a heavy reliance on Russian gas, Europe finds itself at the mercy of geopolitical tensions and conflicts that could disrupt its energy supplies. The conflict has turned Europe's gas dependence into a pressing concern, with wide-ranging economic and social implications. Today, Europe's reliance on Russian gas has far-reaching effects, from skyrocketing heating costs to economic strain. The high cost of heating is an immediate and tangible impact of this dependence. The price of Russian gas has soared, and this increase is directly passed on to consumers, hitting their wallets hard. From London to Lisbon, from Stockholm to Sofia, the rising cost of keeping warm is a harsh reality for millions. But the consequences don't end at the household level. These escalating costs also ripple through the economy, impacting businesses, industry and services. Higher energy costs mean higher operating costs, and these often result in price increases for goods and services. The domino effect continues as inflation sets in and the purchasing power of the average citizen is reduced. This economic strain is further exacerbated by the measures that central banks are taking to combat inflation, such as raising interest rates. While these actions are necessary to keep inflation in check, they also make borrowing more expensive, which can slow down investment and economic growth. the economic strain is not just a personal issue, but a national concern. Many European countries are feeling the pinch, with some already sounding the alarm about the potential for an economic recession. This looming threat is causing unease, not just among policymakers and economists, but also among ordinary citizens who are worried about their future. In response to this crisis, European countries are implementing various measures to mitigate the impact. These range from investing in alternative energy sources to creating financial aid packages for the most vulnerable. However, these are complex issues that require time and significant resources to address, and the immediate relief that is needed is not always possible. The current impact of Europe's gas reliance is felt in every household and throughout the economy, and the future remains uncertain. As we grapple with the immediate challenges, we must also consider the long-term implications of our energy choices and strive towards more sustainable and secure solutions. With Europe's gas dependence posing such a significant challenge, what does the future hold? The answer may lie in a mix of alternatives and solutions, from renewable energy sources to energy efficiency measures and geopolitical strategies. Firstly, let's consider renewable energy sources. Solar, wind, and hydroelectric power offer a sustainable and environmentally friendly alternative to natural gas. Europe has already made significant strides in this direction, with several countries leading the way in renewable energy production. However, the unpredictable nature of these sources and the need for substantial infrastructure investment remain key challenges. Next, we delve into energy efficiency measures. From retrofitting buildings to reducing energy consumption to the use of more efficient appliances, these measures can significantly decrease the demand for natural gas. But the implementation of such measures can be costly and requires significant policy support and public acceptance. Geopolitical strategies also play an important role in diversifying energy sources. Europe could explore partnerships with other energy-producing countries or invest in domestic production of alternative fuels. However, such strategies involve complex negotiations and considerations, including environmental impacts and economic feasibility. Furthermore, technological advancements, such as the development of energy storage and smart grid technologies, could also help in managing the intermittency of renewable energy sources and ensuring a stable energy supply. Each of these alternatives presents its own set of challenges and opportunities. The key to success lies in a balanced approach, one that combines multiple strategies to reduce reliance on a single energy source. It's about creating a resilient, diversified energy landscape that can withstand shocks and uncertainties. The transition won't be easy. It will require political will, investment, and a shift in societal attitudes. But the benefits energy security, environmental sustainability, and economic stability make the effort worthwhile. The future of Europe's energy landscape is in flux, with the potential for significant change on the horizon. So, why has Europe become so reliant on Russia's gas for heating? And what has been the impact of this dependence? Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've explored thus far. We journeyed back to understand the historical origins of Europe's reliance on Russian gas. We discovered that this dependence was shaped by a complex interplay of geographical proximity, economic viability, and political decisions. This reliance, once seen as a practical strategy, has now placed Europe in a precarious position. We then moved on to the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, a dispute that has sent shockwaves across the continent. This conflict has not only disrupted energy supplies, but has also sparked an economic crisis in Europe. The soaring prices of natural gas, economic slowdowns, and inflation are stark reminders of the far-reaching implications of geopolitical tensions. We also discussed the current economic and social implications of this crisis. The ripple effects have been felt far and wide, from households struggling with heating costs to central banks raising interest rates and stock markets experiencing volatility. The situation is indeed dire, but it's important to remember that it's within moments of crisis that the seeds of change are often sown. Lastly, we examined potential alternatives and solutions to this energy dilemma. Europe's energy landscape is at a crossroads, and the choices made today will inevitably shape its future. The exploration of renewable energy sources, diversification of energy imports, and energy conservation measures are but a few of the options on the table. Which brings us to our conclusion. Europe's dependence on Russian gas is not just a question of energy supply, but a complex issue intertwined with geopolitics, economics, and societal well-being. As Europe grapples with its gas dependence, the choices made today will shape the energy landscape of tomorrow. It's a reminder that the path towards energy security is a journey, not a destination, and one that requires collective action, foresight, and resilience. As Europe grapples with its gas dependence, the choices made today will shape the energy landscape of tomorrow.